Hello everyone, Camembert Run here, and welcome back to another FM24 One Season Wonder, where I take over a team and I try to go as best as I can, and you get to see how the team plays. This episode even, we are in Bergamo, in Italy, to take over Atalanta Bergamo Calcio, or just Atalanta, sorry I was trying to show off there. Founded in 1907, they are basically not, they've been solidly in Serie A since about 2011. They have to their name one Coppa Italia. There we go, overview. One Coppa Italia that they won in 1963. And have since been steadily in... steadily in Serie A. They in fact finished 3 consecutive third place finishes, 8th and then 5th. They, currently their squad is actually pretty good if I show you it. So they have the likes of Gianluca Scamacca, Charles de Catalare, Ademola Lookman, Gion Koopmijpers, Martin de Roon. Obviously, the big one at the moment is Giorgio Scalvini, the very promising 19-year-old centre-back who looks incredible. I don't know whether he's still going to be here at the end of this video. I'm hoping that I can at least get 6 months out of him. He might end up... he's not wanted at the minute. We've got a few that are wanted, the likes of Martin de Roon. I need to hold on to those two, to be fair. We can probably get rid of people like Toloi and Mario Palisic. I'm probably going to, looking at this, wanted, but maybe not. Actually, yeah, he's 32, we can get rid of him. But I'm probably going to be looking first for a left winger if I do go into the transfers. If I go into transfers. As for the transfer history, obviously that inform they spent quite a bit of money bringing in like Scamacca, El Bilal Torre, who by the way has got a broken leg and he's out for 6 months. But obviously their most notable outgoing over the summer was Rasmus Højlund, who's gone to Manchester United, where he's trying his best. Come on. They've also sold off the likes of Jeremy Boga, Emmanuel Latitla, Murray Demriel. Who else have we got here? We've got a couple of people out on loan. Brandon Soppy, Duvan Zapata as well. Duvan Zapata, by the way, was always... that was the guy I always saw was really good for Atlanta. Jacques Marley. Amongst their team as well, I'd like to point out, okay, so they've got Marco Carnesci. When I did FM22 Werder Bremen, anybody who watched that series, around about the 3rd season before I had to stop uploading it, I signed Marco Carnesci first to be a backup goalkeeper, but then eventually he became my starting keeper. By the time I left Werder Bremen, he was their starting keeper and he was Italy's #1. He can be an incredible goalkeeper. So I don't know whether I might blood him. He's come in, I believe, this summer from... I don't know, he came in a while ago. He's been on Atlanta for a while then. So yeah, he was on loan at Cremonese for 3 years. And now he's in Atlanta. When I picked him up for Bremen in my save, he'd been at Lazio. Never mind. So, we're going to get rid of that. So, that's unrelated. Where is the thing I'm looking for? Alright, so we've got 17 million to spend the transfer budget. We've got a wage budget of 982,000, but we are over it. If I can find somebody cheap, I can probably try and pick up a very cheap left winger, because we do need one, basically. Staffing should be alright. We could use some more coaches. Oh, Chief Scout, right. So I need to put in a advert for a chief scout, and then probably for a set piece coach, and then we'll go for the rest of that as we go in. Set piece coach. Right, so that's that. There. So, we're just going to quickly go forward one day. Do that later. So in terms of our schedule for the season, in terms of the friendlies, we've got Reggiana Sudatrol in Switzerland. They look like they are a affiliate team. AC Milan, and then we're doing a mini tour of France. We've got Olympique Marseille, Olympique Lyon, and Lille Osc. And then we start season against Genoa and Udinese. So you'll join me month to month. I will show you how I'm doing. I'll show you where it's getting on. I know the last one I did with Monaco, I wasn't that detailed. I'm going to try to be a little bit more detailed with this. Coming back, I'll show you maybe the stats, how players are progressing, any changes to the backroom staff. Well, actually, probably not that far. But I'll try and do more than just regurgitate results. So I'm going to jump to the 31st July. Hopefully I'll have signed a left winger by then and I'll be ready starting to the season. Okay, I've learned a few things from doing this. Firstly, there's not a lot of money out here in Bergamo. So they're financially okay, but their wage budget, really, they were already using all of it. The reason why that's over is because I do have my first transfer, hopefully, in the door. That is Seophane Diop from OGC Nice. I know he's good. He will be good. He will hopefully be joining us next week. Unfortunately, I had to delay the transfer while I shifted off Mario Palisic to Ajax. So he's now gone. It's 7.5 million, 9.5 overall, but it was only about 5.5 million up front. So we've managed to get Palisic out of the door, and we will get Seophane Diop in. The problem is that I've got the wage issue, and now, like, the issue of probably stretching the wages as far as they'll go with signing Diop, and now Ruggieri wants a new contract. So I'm going to have to try and see how much money I've got left, and then we're going to have to see what we can do regarding fudging with things and possibly even selling off some more players. Like, I know one of the things I can do is get rid of Rafael Toloi. And then potentially it might be getting rid of Darun as well because he doesn't want to sign a new contract. If I can rinse the Saudis, that would be quite useful. It might leave us a little bit short in terms of players. We do have a lot of players out on loan, which is quite surprising. Of course, with El Bilal Torre and Hatibo injured, it's going to be a little bit difficult. Our pre-season has gone decently. We won these 3 games, obviously, including beating AC Milan with a very late goal from Charles Catalare, which is very useful. I really basically at this point it's more of a getting at a winger. The other thing is obviously like the way that they're used to playing is 5 at the back. When I did the starting thing, their ideal formation was 5 at the back with attacking mid. There aren't a lot of wingers in the team because they don't really play with wingers. So I'm going to have to try and build around that for the season, especially when I get to January. I might need to make one big sale and then fund a rebuild of the team in mid-season so that I've got like players in positions that I need positions in. We've only really got one left back in Ruggieri and Kaleshniak. Well, we've only got two left backs in terms of Kaleshniak and Ruggieri. Both, aside from Scalvini, both of our centre backs are 30 plus. That's why I might start off Rafael Toloi, because he's 32. But he is one of the team leaders, which is a bit of an issue. I might need to keep him around. It might be that I take the hit and just sell off Darun. But otherwise, I think we'll be all right. This team is not, I'd say it's not necessarily ultra strong, but it's a decent enough team. I mean, in real world, they're 6th in Serie A, and they are in the Europa League. In fact, that's probably should go into that. In terms of the competitions, we're in the group stage of the Europa League, we're in the Italian Cup, and we're in Serie A. We've got our draw for the Italian Cup 3rd round, because of course they draw all in one go. So we will probably be facing one of these 4 teams, and we get past that. Where were we? Yeah, we've got like probably going to be facing Napoli, which would be very, very fun. So obviously in terms of August, and when we actually get the month by month, a little graphic card, we have Lyon, Marseille, Lyon, Lille, and then Genoa and Udinese, and that's when the season kicks off. I'm hopefully going to have Seophane up in the team by that point. So yeah, I will see you guys at the end of August. Alright, it's August 31st, and I got the transfer target I wanted, and the season at least has started okay. So we didn't do very well in France, to be honest, though we did beat Lille, which was thankful. So we ended up winning our first game of the season against Genoa. We were helped by a red card, but we did have a late goal from Ranchuk after about goal in the hour mark from Charles Catalare. And we unfortunately drew 1-1 with Udinese. We conceded a late penalty after Gary put us ahead. Then the second half, we kind of didn't do a lot. We've got games against Fiorentina, Frosinone, Empoli, and Lecce coming up. We should be okay with these. We should really be winning these 3. Fiorentina might be a bit of a challenge. But otherwise, we do now have Seophane Diop in the team. He's here. So we can play mostly on the left wing where we're going to use him. In the end, we paid about 17.5 million for him, with a little bit up front. Realistically, Nice haven't really made a profit on him. Other than that, it has put us slightly over the wage budget. Yeah, we're about 6k over. I might see if I can shift a few more people off on deadline day. And then call that. The only thing is, obviously, we don't have the biggest squad in the world. Go to the tactics. I can't really even fill a subs bench. Mostly because we have a lot of players on loan and we got 2 long-term injuries to Mitchell Bakker and El Bilal Toure. So that is a little bit of an issue. I could try and bring somebody in, but it'll have to be either a loan or a free agent. Other than that, we are doing quite well. I'm glad that Catalari got off to a start. Hopefully we can pick up a good win against Fiorentina. We're 5th in the table. I am looking to get into Europe, specifically the Champions League. It's really weird considering that for the league table, for our expectations, we go to the competitions, our board expectations are avoid a relegation battle. We're in Europe. We should be well clear of a relegation battle, which is really, really odd that they've asked that. So, yeah, I'm going to get to the end of September. You're going to see me then. See you. Okay, it is the last day of September and results have been pretty great. So, we won 5 games out of 5, including the first game of our Europa League. So I'll show you the group before I go into the games. We did beat Molde. They're the first opponents with a Gianluca Scamacca hat-trick. So we're in Group A. We're alongside Sturm Graz and Karabag and Molde. Honestly, if we don't get out of this group, there will be some questions, most likely. We've got a very, very easy group here. So, as for the rest of the games, we battered Fiorentina with 2 goals from Scamacca and 1 from Charles de Catalare. We beat Frosinone 3-1 with Zappacosta, Ruggeri and Siofan Diop. Although we fought behind after 2 minutes and they dominated us for the first half. I had to have some very strong words with them. And then we beat the crap. I mean, this was surprising in my mind. I think we got 4-0 up and I went to make a cup of tea. We were basically, I think, by half-time, we were 3-4-0 up. So I went to make a cup of tea during the second half and we scored another bloody 3 goals. We absolutely took Empoli to the cleaners. Goals from Ranchuk, Muriel, Holm, Ruggeri, Ademola Lookman. I wasn't even playing a full-strength squad. We beat Lecce 2-0. We did well. I don't think this was an own goal. Diop's shot was already heading in, but whatever, it counted as an own goal. And then a goal from Scalvini as well. So they've gone very, very well. We've got one upcoming problem, though, is that we gave Carnacci a new contract because he's now our starting goalkeeper. He's been very, very good. He's gone from 2.5 stars to 3.5 stars in the space of about 6 games. So, 5 games actually. He started at the beginning of the month. In 1 month, he's gone to 3.5 because it turns out he's an excellent keeper. He's getting a new contract, take him up to 16.5. Now, the other player that wants a new contract is Ademola Lookman. And if my talk with this, sorry, there's a very, very large spider on the end. I'm just going to... Fuck. Well, that'll be a problem. It's just escaped down the back of the bloody table. He is an exceptional player, and he wants a new contract. And his agent, so that's fine, important player. Yeah, he wants £100,000 a week. You're not getting that. Yeah, I'm not offering any more than that. So that's going to be a problem. He's been offered a new contract and we can't afford to pay him that. He might as well just basically said, I want to leave for the Premier League. So that's going to be a problem by itself. So, yeah. I'll deal with that when it comes. It might just be after sell off Lookman in January. I can get 20-odd million for him. And then we can replace him. So, in terms of the schedule, wish I wouldn't do it. It keeps doing that. So we've got some Hellas Verona should be fine. We got Sturm Graz in the Europa League, but then we got Napoli, Lazio. We've got a game against Karabag, which should be fine, and then AC Milan. And right after that, we do Juventus. Jesus Christ. Thankfully, between this game and this game, we've got a long international break. So at least some space between the 2 games. We got 6 fixtures in October. The 2 European ones are the 2 easiest because the rest of the games are going to be quite difficult. And that is potentially with an unhappy Ademola Lookman. So this could get quite unfun. We'll have to see. Anyway, I'll see you at the end of October. Okay, it is it's the 1st of November, but we played through October. The results have been okay. You can see where I've got the failed promise Adamo Lookman. I kept trying to offer him a new contract. He wants like 120k a week. No way I'm affording that. I've put him on the transfer list. We'll offload him in January. Honestly, lads, honest opinion, if you ever decide to do an Atalanta playthrough, just sell Lookman. So we've also given Mandarin a new contract. And then we got a couple of promises made towards loan players. The results have been okay. We beat Hellas Verona fairly easily with goals from Coop Miners and Ketelare. We smacked Sturm Graz, Skamaka, Coop Miners again, and Lookman. We then went and beat Napoli. I was about to say Parthenope. It is Napoli, but I haven't got the name fixed. We beat Napoli 4-2. We got 2 very early goals through Gianluca Scamacca. Osimhen pulled one back, but then we got another through Diop and Charles Ketelare. We did concede late we conceded a minute after Ketelare scored to Kvaratskhelia, but we ended up holding out for the win. We then went and lost to Lazio, unfortunately. We did manage to equalise after the first time they scored, but I mean, we had a lot of injuries during the game as well. We ended up having to make multiple substitutions. We then smacked Karabag. That was fairly easy, as you can see. Shea Kolesniak's goal was great. He literally thundered home a header from just sprinting from outside the box straight into it. Unfortunately, we lost against AC Milan. Okafor managed to score, and although we equalised I can't read that. Though we equalised like 3 minutes later through Diop, they unfortunately scored right before half-time. And then the entire second half was basically us trying not to concede anymore. They kind of played us off the pitch. It wasn't great. So we've got November coming up. We've got games against Molde and Karabag, which should be fine. I mean, we basically already in control of the group. In our Europa League group, that shouldn't be a problem. Juventus, and then Salernitana and Sassuolo as well. I think Juventus, once that's out of the way, we should be all right. December is looking a bit tasty as well, because we've got, obviously, Roma, Inter, and Torino. It's going to be a hectic schedule, but I think we should be fine. Only thing of note is that, obviously, on the midweek, we've got the game of the Coppa Italia. Otherwise, most of my time is going to be spent scouting for another right winger to replace Thing. That might be an option, getting Matteo Politano in. He is 30. I'm more looking for somebody younger. The one that I'm sort of looking at is Yasser Asprilla. Only 10 million. Plenty of room for the future, and is only 19. I'm wondering if I might just use Moranchuk for the rest of the season and then play Yasser Asprilla and then spend some of the rest of the money elsewhere, because I also need a backup left back and a couple of others. Anyway, I will see you guys at the end of November, and I will see whether I've been able to basically win my group already. Yeah, win my Europa League group already. See you. Alright, it is the end of November. It is over. We have done very well in the Europa League. And importantly, we beat Juventus. We beat them 2-1. We scored 2 goals from Gianluca Scamacca in the first half. And we were able to get a victory at the Allianz Stadium. Remember, it's still called the Stadio delle Alpi. But yeah, they call it the Allianz now. So we beat Juventus away. We then went and beat Karabag 2-0, which was fairly routine. Scalvini managed to get a header off a corner, and then Moranchuk sealed the deal. We then beat Salernitana 3-0, Coop Myers, Edison, and Charles de Ketelare. Then we lost 2-1. We did not do very well. We fell behind early, and we were very tired, to be honest, for some odd reason. I'm still not sure why. And then Moranchuk pulled us back into the game after like an hour, but we couldn't find an equaliser. We were very, very poor, to be fair. And then we just smashed Molde 3-1. 3-0 even. Lookman, Holm, and Cooper Myers got the goals. We basically conquered the group stage. We have 15 points from 5 games. We played 5, won 5, scored 16, conceded 1. We won't even, Graz can't even catch us. I can basically throw that game, which I probably will do. I'll play a massively weakened side and just see what happens. But we're basically already into the round of 16. As for the table, we are clinging on to first a little bit. We're 1 point ahead of Lazio. I don't think we'll win the title, but it'd be very nice. We've obviously got the Coppa Italia to go as well. We're playing Hellas Verona this month. We've got, how many games have we got? We've got AS Roma, Inter, Sturm Graz, Torino, Verona, Monza, and Bologna. I think as well, if we beat Hellas Verona, the first quarter-final is in between these two. So if I go to it, the quarter-final, it doesn't tell me when the... All right. Well, we'll have to see because I'm pretty sure the quarterfinal is in this month if I win it. In terms of the scouting for replacing Ademola Lookman, the one who's coming off a lot is, if I go to where I found him, basically. Well, the one that I kept getting recommended was Cervenio Somerville from Leeds. Whether that works or not, I don't know. We'll have to find out. So I would probably first have to clear off Lookman, which won't be too hard because he's wanted by basically nearly every single big club in the world. You know, most of Europe and pretty much all of where the fuck is it? There he is. Yeah, he's wanted. Look at all the teams that want him. It's in interested clubs, basically the whole of the fucking thing. Active interest 6, rumored interest. Okay, no one. But yeah, look, Sevilla, Al Ittihad, Real Madrid, Bayern, Tottenham, and Newcastle. If I can chuck up a bidding war, that'd be very, very useful. He is currently worth 32 million. I'm going to see if I can edge for 35. Then be able to pick up a decent replacement and then try and get in another midfielder as well. So I've got my plans. I'll also see if I can bring down this wage budget. Anyway, I'm going to get ahead to the end of December. We'll see how we're doing in the Coppa Italia. I'll also see who I get in the round of 16 of the Europa League. I will obviously show you the draw for that, and we'll kick off from there. Anyway, see you at the end of December. Alright, it's the 31st of December. The form have been interesting, but we got some problems mounting. So the fixtures, I mean, there's been a lot of draws. We drew 1-1 with Roma. We managed to get the opening goal for Luis Muriel. They did play a slightly weakened team, but then Renato Sanchez equalised, and then we kind of spent the last 10 minutes hanging on. We did very well to come back from 2-0 down against Inter. Diop and Scamacca rescuing our butts. Then we drew 0-0 with Sturm Graz. To be honest, I don't think any of the team took it seriously because we'd already qualified. Would have been nice to get 18 points, but I'll settle for 16. We don't play in the knockout round, which is good. We then drew 2-2 with Torino. That was mostly due to tiredness. We did get a late penalty, but then they equaled it. Our own player on loan, Brandon Soppy, scored against us. And then we hammered Hellas Verona in the Coppa Italia first, and that was fairly easy, actually. You see, we scored 3 goals in the first 10 minutes. And pretty much we were in control from there. We then beat Brianza 3-1, and then we finished off with a 1-1 draw to Bologna, who are doing very, very well at the moment, but then they're doing very well in real life. We are third in the table. Unfortunately, we're not really keeping up with the leaders. What? I hadn't even noticed. Fiorentina are leading the table by a comfortable margin as well. Obviously, you see we've qualified top of the Europa League. And we've actually got a quarter-final against Lecce rather than Napoli, because Napoli suffered a shock defeat. So we should get through to the so we should easily get through to the semi-finals. Should. The main problem we have, so Hans Hateboa is joining Ajax on the 1st, and Luis Muriel is going on loan to Nottingham Forest. We're getting into that stage of the season where everybody is complaining about not having game time and they all want to go out on loan or just straight up leave the club. We don't have a huge squad as already, which is kind of a problem. With me planning to sell off Ademola Lookman, who is currently travelling for the Africa Cup of Nations, we also have issues with the fact that we've got a lot of players surrounded by the Saudi clubs. And then on top of that, players like Ruggeri and especially Tune Koopmeiners, who's wanted by look at all of those teams that want him. And it's going to be very, very difficult to keep hold of him. Although if I can get the maximum 50 million for him and get the 30 million for Lookman, I should be fine. I've got give me 75 million that I can kind of go nuts with and actually be able to build a team depth. So that'll be quite fun. Anyway, in terms of the schedule, we've got games against Cagliari, Lazio, Udinese, Genoa, Fiorentina, and Lecce. And then, we got I guess that's not till March. Alright, so yeah, we've got quite a few games, but we've only really got one, we got 2 midweeks, obviously we got the Sunday. I'm probably going to bring you guys on the 1st of February after we played against Lecce. So, I will see you after January is done. It's been a January. Right, so I am going to go straight to the transfers. So, going to go down to, probably start from Palomino. He went to Al-Fayha for 325k. Adamol Lukman is now at Newcastle for, oh God, how much did we sell him for? 31 million we sold him for. And then everybody was unhappy because, of course, I sold a really strong player. So I said I would find somebody else. I spent an entire fucking endless time haggling, trying to get Johan Bakayoko to the club. I got priced out badly. That amount literally went up to about 30. I was willing to put up with all the extras and all the bells and whistles on top. Then they said we want 45 million up front plus like 20 million in add-ons, and I got priced out. Funnily enough, I was the only player that bid, the team that bid, despite everyone else wanting him as well, which is odd, but there we go. We also sold off Rafael Toloi. Literally complained about more playing time. Told him no chance. I really wish there was an option to say that you can tell somebody you're 32, you've got no chance. Everybody was unhappy because he was team leader, so I just hired an intermediary to bin him off back to Brazil. So fuck him. On the in pile, we almost had a deal tied up for Samuel Lino, but he chose to go to Fulham on loan over us. First guy we signed was Alvaro Diallo. He's literally a squad player. We signed him for 18.5 million from Sporting Braga. He will be rotational option. Then we signed Todd Cantwell. I'm not kidding. I got a little bit desperate. I needed a fucking winger or somebody who can play on the wings or up front. So I've signed Todd Cantwell. He can't play on the wings. He will be on the wings, despite that he works better as an attacking midfield centre. But we signed him also for 18.5 million. So we now have Todd Cantwell playing in fucking Italy. Oh, Jesus. And then we did a funny. Yeah, I've signed Isaac Hien at the exact same time as Atalanta have signed him in real life. So we now have Isaac Hien. We paid 8.5 million for him. He's going to come in. He's going to be basically the replacement for Rafael Toloi. Sortea they were trying to poach Sortea. I also had to fight a long-running argument with Teun Koopmeiners because he wanted to go to Arsenal, which I don't care if they were offering 60 million for him. He's not leaving. I literally said, okay, if somebody pays 100 million, you can leave. But he's not going anywhere. I've managed to keep hold of him. The schedule has actually been pretty excellent as well. We smashed Caligari, 2 goals from Scamacca and an own goal that they scored, but we did fall behind. We drew 2-2 with Lazio. Darun and Scamacca dragged us back into the game after the Lazio took the lead. We then battered Udinese 4-0 with goals from Koopmeiners, 2 from Scamacca to Catalare, and a debut goal from Diallo. We then beat Genoa 4-1, which was actually quite surprising because Genoa actually did play quite well. They did get a goal right before to put them at 2-1, but another goal from Diallo and the second Scamacca goal did put them to bed. Oh, I should probably mention Ranchuk is due to join Monaco in like fucking the summer, but I don't care about that. And then we battered Fiorentina 3-0. 2 goals from De Ketelare and 1 from Emil Holm gave us the win. That was quite surprising. So now I've got to go play the Italian Cup quarter-final and hope that my team doesn't scream at me because I haven't really effectively placed Lookman. So it was Ruggieri that was leading most of them and Darun. So we are going to have to sort something out. There was also this guy to get a loan move, but no one's interested in him because he's kind of shit. So I'm going to get through February. The fixture should be fine. We've got the quarterfinal Italian Cup against Salento. We've got Frosinone, Empoli, Salento again, or Lecce, and then Hellas Verona. Should be fine. All win a week, and we should also find out the UEFA Europa League opponents. So, I will see you guys at the end of February. Alright, it is the 29th of February. Apparently it is a leap year this year. And we actually had a pretty decent season in terms of results, bar the blemish against Empoli, where unfortunately they did score early, but we did manage to equalise. We were on top for most of the game as well, which is frustrating. Otherwise, Salento or Lecce were brushed aside after a goal and assist from Todd Cantwell. They did score early, but they didn't do anything after that. We were on top against Frosinone, but we still needed an own goal, and then we just demolished Lecce again, and then Hellas Verona. We do have Celtic in the UEFA Europa League round of 16. which will be interesting, especially because we're away in the first leg at Celtic Park. Well, it's got Napoli, AC Milan, and Juventus, so it's not going to be an easy month, to be honest. Other than that, in terms of the competitions, we're level on points with AC Milan, better goal difference, but Serie A does head to head. We got the semi-final first leg against Inter in April. We're looking good. I don't think we will not clean sweep the trophies. There's still way too many decent teams in the Europa League. They've still got West Ham, Liverpool, Man United, RB Leipzig, AC Milan, Real Sociedad. It's going to be a heavy one. Scamacca, by the way, is actually the top scorer the second top scorer in the competition, behind Marcus Thuram. In terms of clean sheets, Carnesci is fourth. Scalvini is developing rather well now. He's a 4-star player. He's been incredible, and of course he's now wanted by multiple teams. Vachu's or Southampton United. Carnesci is developing rather well. He's 3 stars now. He's also... You see, this is the problem, is that when a team like Atalanta does really, really well, their team now becomes a lighthouse bulb for every single major team in Europe to come and get them, because they outgrow the team. Cantwell, aside from getting the first goal in the cup, actually, to be fair, he hasn't played much. But the major one who's done quite well is Alvaro Diallo, who has got 5 goals in 8 games, and has actually been rather good as a signing. Still prefer Lino though, but there we go. Chelsea Catalari has also done rather well. Been on loan. I would possibly try and make that permanent. 12 goals in 26 games. I definitely look at getting him in here permanently. Especially as we do need some quality if the whole team's going to get picked apart. Coop Myers is still... I mean, he was attracting interest, maybe not so much now, because he is basically one of our best players. He's in 3 goals in 27 games, but average rating is pretty good. 7 assists. I mean, I'd say we're doing well. I think we could potentially win the title, but we need to survive March is all. Anyway, I will see you guys at the end of March. You'll see how far we got through in Europe, and see how many of the games we won against the top teams. See you around. Alright, it is the 31st of March, and I think it's gone pretty well. Not as well as I'd like. We have done the double over Napoli and Juventus. Napoli one was fun. They scored off like 7 minutes from Zabonguisa Thunderbolt. The goals... No, actually, we did take the lead first. I thought he had scored in 14 minutes. It was 4. Scamacca put a straight back header, and then Edison polished them off. This was a struggle. Celtic scored after 1 minute through Diaz Almeida. We drew level and took the lead before they got a lucky header off a corner. And then Edison scored in the 92nd minute. So that makes 2 90-plus goals that Edison has scored to save our butts. Then we were under the cosh for the whole game. It didn't help that we didn't have Carnesci due to a virus, but Musa played very well in the second leg. Scamacca managing to get a goal just for the hour mark to make sure we got through. To be honest, we should not be dominated by Celtic, but we were. And it was very concerning. We lost 1-0 to AC Milan, to this guy, Kevin Zeroli, 19-year-old, who's apparently been given his debut by AC Milan. But again, we didn't really play that well. Frustrating. And against Juventus, we managed to win 2-1 with goals from Ruggeri and Diop. But I thought we did quite well. I mean, we came back, because Cambiasso scored for Juventus right off the top. In terms of the competitions, we are 3rd in the league, ahead of Roma. I think Fiorentina might win the title. I'm just going to say it. Like, AC Milan are 2nd, but Fiorentina have had an incredible season. Our biggest problem has been we've drawn too many. We've got a quarter-final leg against FC Copenhagen. If we win that, then we get either Man United or RB Leipzig. So I think with the other team being Liverpool, Roma, Feyenoord or West Ham, I think an English team might be winning the Europa League. Just a thought. But otherwise, I think we are doing quite well. We still got Gianluca Scamacca with 24 goals as the first biggest player. Charles Catalari has also scored quite a few. I mean, he's at 12 goals for the season, at least 7 assists. He's been pretty good. We'll go over the overall stats at the end of the video. We've got Inter in the Italian Cup semi-final first up. Then we got Salernitana. Then we've got our 2 games against Copenhagen with Sassuolo in between. Then we've got AS Roma. Then we've got a double header against Inter, which will not be fun. So, I will see you guys at the end of April. We might be in an Italian Cup and Champions League semi-final and the Italian Cup final. The Italian Cup final is played in June, same as the Europa League final. I said Champions League, I mean Europa League. They will both those finals be in June, so it might be end up with the June video, June segment. But otherwise, I don't think we'll get past Man United or Leipzig. Anyway, I will see you guys at the end of April. Okay, it's literally the end of April, and it's been a little bit wild. So I will show you the results starting if I focus solely on the Italian Cup first. This semi-final was nuts. So we ended up falling behind to 2-0 on half an hour against Inter Milan at San Siro. Ruggeri and Diop pulled us back before a Koopmeiners penalty in Scamacca made it 4-2 going into the 90th minute, but Quadrado scored for Inter to make it 4-3, so it was very, very finely balanced. And then we brought them back to the Guay Stadium, or the Gewis. I'm still calling it Guay, it's just easier. The Guay Stadium, while we rushed into a... We scored early with Scamacca, and then DeMarco pulled them level. We took the lead again. In fact, I'm looking at that. And then, yeah, we ended up rushing into like a 2-0 lead, and then they ended up coming back to 2-1. We brought it 3-1. And then I barely remember the game. I just remember getting stressed. We lost Diallo to a 6-week injury as well. But we ended up finishing 3-3. Eventually, we basically won 7-6 on aggregate over 2 legs. As for the rest of it, we'll bring back everything else. So Copenhagen were dispatched easily. We won 1-0 in Denmark and battered them 4-1 at home. Todd Cantwell scoring 2 goals. He's only actually scored in the league, but I'll take that. We battered Sassuolo, got a really frustrating 0-0 draw in Salernitana. AS Roma was a 1-1 and Inter was a 2-2. It's frustrating because the more cup competition we've been in, the more tired the team is getting. I can no longer play Scalvini and Koopmeiners in the league because they're consistently tired. So we are ending up in a position where we're trying to balance the team out. We have the Coppa Italia final against Juventus. We've already beaten them twice this season, so that should be fine. And then we've got Manchester United in the semi-final, and I don't think we're going to win that, so I don't think we'll be getting a Europa League final. We are, De Ketelari's on course for the Young Player of the Season award. Scamacca's up for Player of the Season. He's the second highest top scorer behind Thuram with 20 goals in the league. I think overall, he scored 31. He's got the most goals most goals in a season for Atalanta, the player with the most goals. Most assists, Alexei Miranchuk, he got all of those early on because Miranchuk's form has dropped off a cliff. I think Diop's also got quite a few, mostly from getting headers off Scamacca on corners. So, assists 8, but that includes 8 assists, 3 assists in Europe, 1 assist in the Cup. So he's about 12 assists. So he's probably far off from Miranchuk. But we are going to go into facing United. I don't expect a win. I think I will see you guys at the end of May. Because I don't think we'll end up in the Europa League final, it should be fine with me. I'll let you know how the Coppa Italia final goes and we'll do a recap of the season. Anyway, see you at the end of May. Well, look at that. I won me a damn trophy in 1 season. Yeah, I won the Coppa Italia. See you at the end of the season. Alright, the season is over. I'll move this slightly up. Season is over. And, we won the Coppa Italia. We won 2-0 with goals from the much maligned, and I've been giving him a ton of crap because he's got one eye out the door to go to Monaco, Alexei Miranchuk, who hit 2 goals in the 70th and 74th minute. One of them I'll show you it. Give me a second. So this one was an absolute screamer. Look at that. Bosh. So we won the Coppa Italia fairly comfortably. We were battered by Man United. We got cracked on 3-0 at home with 2 goals from Varane and Bruno Fernandes. We then beat Torino 2-0, goals from Scamacca and Sioufe and Diop. We ended up drawing 1-1 at Old Trafford at least. We fell behind to Rashford, but then eventually Scamacca did bring us level, but we weren't that great. We then beat Monza 3-1 with of all people, a Todd Cantwell hat-trick, including a penalty and then a late goal at the end. That's basically his contribution for the season. He scored 4 goals in the league, 7 overall. Don't think that's too bad. Need to remember to close that. So we then obviously we then won the Italian Cup final. And then we drew 2-2 with Bologna, who've actually had a really, really good season. So we got Chelsea Catalare drew us, put us ahead. Then we went behind, we were 2-0 up, and then we threw it away. Because Roy Ferguson leveled after Dismisti and Catalare put us ahead. And then we finally got a week's break and we battered Cagliari. Diop, Koopmeiners, and Cantwell got the goals. So we finish in third, ahead of AS Roma, behind surprise champions Fiorentina, who have gone on and won the title. So, I mean, considering I did that, I covered them on the beta series. That was my base save in FM23. They far expanded anything I've ever done with them. AC Milan finished second, and then Atalanta, we come third. We're still ahead of Inter, Napoli, and Juventus. Actually, quite a funny thing is that Allegri didn't even make it to the post-match press conference at the Coppa Italia final. His assistant gave it because he was in the process of being sacked. Because Juventus have lost the Coppa Italia final and they're out of Europe. So there is no hope there. Relegation, Lecce, Frosinone, and Empoli. Cagliari survive, Genoa survive, and Hellas Verona survive. In terms of the actual squad, obviously, huge props to Gianluca Scamacca. He finished, I believe, second top scorer behind Marcus Thuram. We also have a lot to say about Chelsea Catalare, who scored 13 goals over the season, including 2 in the Cups, 1 in the Continent, and one internationally scored for Belgium as well. But he wasn't taken to the Euros. The players that have been taken to the Euros are Ruggeri, Scalvini, Scamacca, Cooper Myers, Dimishi, Kolesniak, and that's about it. El Bilal Torre didn't feature enough because he broke his leg, so unfortunately I wasn't able to do that. He did get an assist though. Scalvini has been as good as you would expect from the 20-year-old. He's got a lot of potential. He's now being coveted by, he came up as wanted by basically most big teams, including Bayern, Madrid, and PSG. 2 goals, 32 appearances, 2 assists, average rating of 6.9, which could have been higher. Siofane Diop actually did quite well too. He looks to be balancing quite well. 35 appearances, 8 goals, 9 assists in the league. This guy, huge shout out to Alvaro Diallo, signed from Sporting Braga for 18.5 million. 6 goals, 17 appearances, 2 assists, 3 Player of the Match awards, including getting a goal in the Cup. So he's got 7 goals overall, as many as Cantwell, but more in the league as it was. Moranchuk is probably going to be out the door. He had a great early season, but he's joining Monaco since I think his head was turned. So, 34 appearances, 6 goals, 12 assists. He's been absolutely quality. But I couldn't be bothered to see him fucking keep him. And then the other one major, which we're going to have trouble hanging on to, is Cooper Myers. So, 33 games, 4 goals, 8 assists, 2 Player of the Match, average rating 7.8. So, he's been pretty excellent for us. I think to do this, the budget we got given is 1.1 million in wages, but only 9 million. So if I wanted to sign some players, somebody either Scalvini or Cooper Myers would have to be let off. Obviously, this is very much a sell to buy club. They did it with Højlund last season. I had to do it with Ademola Lookman to sign some players. But I think overall, in terms of the season, I think we did quite well. I got 23 wins, 11 draws, 4 losses. I think one too many draws. Turn some of those into wins. We've easily got second, possibly in winning the title ourselves. But third for Atlanta, considering the initial one was avoid relegation, probably because they did let go of a lot of good players this season. In the real world, they're currently 5th, so they're not doing too badly. I think semi-finals was fine for Europa. I didn't think we get past the quarters. We went up against Manchester United, who aren't as terrible. Manchester United and Chelsea both the same. They're not as terrible on FM as they are in real life right now. But the main one is that we did win the Coppa Italia, which is huge. Because we were only expected to reach the quarter-final. We got, if I go to the competition stats, schedule. We beat Hellas Verona, Lecce. We got a ridiculous semi-final against Inter Milan, and then eventually that's 3 wins over Juve I got in this save. My results against the other top Italian teams, which if you want to call them... Oh, Jesus Christ. Against the other Italian teams, if you want to consider them as the big ones like Juventus, AC Milan, Napoli. Keep doing that. Inter and Lazio and AS Roma have been very, very mixed. And then we basically got 2 draws against Roma, I think a draw and a defeat against Lazio, 2 wins against Napoli, 2 wins against Juventus. I think 2 draws against Inter as well. Let me find the other, 2 draws against Inter and 2 defeats to AC Milan, which probably is why we finished behind AC Milan, to be fair. I think if you're going to do Atalanta, you've got to, like, for a long term, you have to be prepared to sell to buy. Like, if I was to continue this, either Cuban Myers or Scalvini would have to go, and I'd have to build from there. Because we've only got 9 million to spend on transfers. So someone will have to go out the door to fund a spending spree. They did a lot, it's very, very real world as well. But I've actually quite enjoyed this, and I'm glad I was able to win a trophy in this one. I didn't do that with Monaco. Anyway, if you've enjoyed this, feel free to leave a like. If you want to see more, you can always subscribe. I'm hopefully going to bring the next one on the Sunday, potentially Monday, because I'm working over the rest of the week, and it's going to be absolute nightmares, 5 nights in a row. So, anyway, I've been Cambear Run, and thank you for watching.